No, we don't have desktop audio. There we go. Hey everybody,
Good.
welcome to another edition of And
Challenge.
Tentacles with Colt
And Lance.
and Lance and Colt.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare because we wanted to play this game in October and it just didn't ever work out for us to play it. So we're playing it now. You all can enjoy.
Yes. Did I start the right one?
Yes, that's the right one. Continue, create a new save game. Do it. And here we go.
To be honest, if we wanted to do something creepy, we just go hang out in the old abandoned town. The ghost town.
Oh yeah.
Was it Tumbleweed?
Yes, yeah.
That place is creepy.
It is creepy. Yes, my love. What do you need? One, and go to bed. Seriously. Child, I love you. But you're really cramping my style at the moment. This is it. Sit right there, eat it, and then go to bed. Thank you. So, Colt, tell us the story so far. How did we get to come into
Wait, what? Is this multiplayer?
Are we playing? Did you do multiplayer?
I think I did. Maybe I pressed the wrong button because of the Xbox controller. Main menu.
Do it. Yes. So Red Dead Redemption, which
Yeah.
ironically, Colt doesn't have a mic.
Yeah, I
You
don't
gotta
have a
sit
mic,
closer to me.
so I gotta talk loud.
Yeah.
Hi.
You gotta. Yeah. We'll just have to talk
So I'll
really
just
loud.
have to talk like this all night.
Yes. Awesome. Anyway, Red Dead Redemption number one
Right.
came out on PS3,
And Xbox 360.
and it is set after the events of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel
Yep.
and
And
an amazing game.
I didn't think it could be better than Red Dead Redemption,
I didn't either.
and I was very wary going into it, especially with the new character.
Yes, Arthur.
But Arthur is a better
He's
character.
so freaking awesome. I love
Arthur
him.
is awesome.
Single
Single
player.
player. Okay, that was my problem. You see, it said X there, so I hit
There we go.
X.
There we go. This is the screen I was looking for.
There we go. That's what we want.
Also, just be aware we're playing this game through PlayStation Now, so we're on my computer playing
With an,
the.
you know,
Yeah, so if it's laggy a little bit, it's because we're not actually playing on the PS3.
yep.
We're playing on my gaming computer. Love in the Time of Plague. Thank you for this.
You are welcome.
Which is a play on a very famous novel by Gabriela Garcia Marquez, Love in the Time of Cholera. Have you ever read it?
I don't think so. I know the name.
Gabriela Garcia
After
Marquez is
months
the father of
away,
magical
John
realism.
Marston has
Okay.
returned to his loved
He's
ones
more famous for having
while
written
trying to rebuild
100
his
Years of
ranch
Solitude.
and win
Okay.
back the trust of his
Anyway,
family.
Love in the Time of Cholera is a great
Marston
book.
awaits whatever life will throw at him as he drives home one evening from an errand.
Dang it! I got it. You know, you're the one. You're the one playing, so you should have the sound.
He is a man who
Yeah,
is
but we're
ready
gonna
for
switch sides,
anything,
and you're gonna sit here, and I'll sit there,
almost anything.
and it'll work out.
Okay.
Because
Now I have a mic.
also you know more about this game anyway.
Oh, thanks. It's been years since I've played this. I love the pulpiness of it, though. You know? Oh, yeah, I'm in my phone.
Yeah. So, spoilers for
So does
Red
it?
Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
John dies
It. No, he doesn't. John doesn't die.
Oh,
at the end of Red Dead
damn.
Redemption.
Oh
Mother.
well, yeah. The end of Red Dead. Yeah.
I'm
Otherwise, it
sorry.
wouldn't be undead.
I meant to say,
But he's
damn
not
this
undead
awful
in
son
this.
I've raised
He
with
is
his
undead,
half-polluted
No, he's not.
ways, and
He's
his
normal
shame
John.
that his mother swears like
But
a
he's
sailor and
undead.
sews like a
No.
blind man. Is that better?
I think it
Your
technically
lord?
takes place in
Much
between
better, mother dearest.
No way.
Good,
the
I'm so
end
glad,
of
my
him,
darling. When you finished your university
like,
education
finding and
and
killing
are
Dutch.
far too
Well,
good to
technically he
even
has to because
acknowledge
his
my
family's still
existence.
Yeah.
and pass
So
on
it's
the
in
speech.
between
And you gently
when he
kicked
kills
me
Dutch
aside,
and the
petty
actual
old
end of the
crow,
game
out of the
when
way
he gets
with your
gunned down.
highly
I
polished
think that's
boots.
when this takes place.
Well, think of
But
it kindly,
it's a
and
what
be
if story
disciplined,
anyway,
Marston.
so I don't think it
I'll
necessarily
try to,
matters.
mother.
Yeah.
I think that woman I just kicked, that used to be my dear old potty mouth mom. Maybe I should bother to kick her harder.
Dear boy. Oh, I am so proud of you.
I love you.
Get off.
Good night.
Now, Father's here. Maybe he can beat some sense into you.
Something funny's
So
going
this
on
is
out there.
happening before the final mission.
Yeah.
Damn dogs going crazy and wolves howling and birds flying.
Well, it's just the storm, John.
Maybe.
Spoilers for Red Dead Redemption. Actually.
Right.
How old is it? 10 years old?
Uncle make
Yeah.
it back yet?
It's old.
I thought he was with you, off drinking in the fields. I mean, working.
Oh,
as
John's
you call it
awesome.
now.
He went into town a few hours
Yeah,
ago after
Arthur
he busted that
is
hammer working
easily
out in
better.
the meadow.
And I didn't
Well,
think they
he's
could do it.
probably holed up in some place of ill repute, waiting for the passing of the storm.
I hope so.
Well, that old man could take care of himself.
I know. Just a funny feeling I got.
You call him psychic, Paul?
Either that or I ate something funny. Knowing your mother's cooking seems
Yeah.
more than likely.
Well, talking about food, who's ready for some poisoning?
Me, my darling.
Yeah, it's weird.
I am starving.
It's weirding me out.
Like, I can totally stream a PlayStation 3 game on my computer.
Yeah.
What you reading?
Does that work? I don't know.
Just some book about monsters.
Tell me about it.
Also,
It's kind of dumb.
PS5 in 6 days.
Yeah.
That should suit me
6
just
days
fine.
to the PS5. And what are we streaming next
Well,
Friday, Colt?
We're gonna
It's all
stream Demon
about
Souls.
in ancient times how Aztec warriors
Demons
worshipped the sun.
Souls. It's so
But
hard to
during
say
full
that name.
moons, some of them worship the moon
Demons
instead
Souls.
and upset the equilibrium.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So anyway,
Go to the bathroom.
what it
And
involves
then go
is
to bed.
there's this one guy, and
Go.
he goes out in search of
What? Come give me a hug then.
and that leaves him all alone. So anyways, since there ain't no cure, the brave man has to kill everybody, which is
Absolutely disgusting and completely unbelievable. It's getting late. Guess we're not gonna see Uncle till morning.
Yeah.
Come on then,
Demon
Abigail.
Souls on the PS3 is an
Jack,
amazing
Get
game.
yourself to bed, boy.
Obviously, the
Try to get
precursor
some
to the
sleep.
whole Dark Souls
ain't you worried
trilogy
about Uncle?
and everything that
Sure.
came from that. But
You'll
Demon
have to wait
Souls,
till morning, just like
is
any other man
really
wearing his
cool.
shoes.
and it's got so
It's way
it's a
more-
good Lovecraftian.
Don't stay
Like
up
it's
reading
very
too late.
Lovecraftian.
But it's also more fantasy.
Yeah, it's like this weird intersection of very fantasy,
Which is why I love it.
but also very kind of horror centric. You know?
Yeah, it was kind of.
You okay, old man?
Dark.
You don't look so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely leads more, you know, leans more into the Dungeons and Dragons guidebook type of fantasy. I mean, there's literal mind flayers in it. Yeah.
Where you going? Where you going?
To get my gun.
Yeah.
Like, come at me. I'm just gonna bash your head in with this limp. No damage to the limp.
God damn it.
And now he's running out.
Now, where is he going? It's a long way away. Double barrel shotty.
Uncle! You dumb son of a bitch! Stop! What'd you do to her, you sick bastard?
She's been bitten.
I can't believe I had to kill that poor bastard.
No, they turn into zombies from bites.
Well,
Yeah.
you okay, darling? You okay?
Yeah, that's the main interpretation of zombies. The virus
Abigail.
is transmitted through saliva and blood.
Jack! Get out here! Now!
Good Lord, what's happened? Mama?
Careful, boy.
Mama? Mama?
Depends
Stay
on.
right there, the pair of you.
Sometimes you have to die.
Don't make me no widower now.
This was such a
It depends on your interpretation of zombie and what rules they're playing off. Because there's so many different versions of zombies. There's supernatural zombies. There's black science zombies. You know.
Black Science.
What's black science?
I've never heard of it.
I feel like this is something we covered before.
What the hell Black Science is? I feel like if I Googled it, I could probably.
Probably. Or maybe you could just infer.
It's different from white science.
That.
Racist is a little
Who knows?
white.
Now stay there while I deal with your half-wit
Probably.
son.
White privilege science. Alright, where's Jim? Oh, there he is. He's right behind me. Where is he? Oh. It's like all the way over there.
He ran away. That was a good hog tie right there.
Thank you.
Pull yourselves together,
I've had
damn it.
practice.
If you act like a child, I'll treat you like one. Now, I don't know what the hell's gotten into you sick, crazy bastards or what Uncle's done to you, but I'm going to get
I
help.
love that he calls his wife and son sick,
Stay
crazy
calm.
bastards.
As calm as you can, seeing as both of you seem to have gotten a little excited. Probably just a fever. Jack, be kind to your mother. Abigail, teach the boy right from wrong. Both of you. Stop biting chunks out of people. Be
I think
back
this
as soon as I can.
interpretation of zombies for this game is, I think it's an Aztec curse that's the cause of it. Yeah, it's like some artifact or something, because you end up going to Mexico and...
Does technically count as Pirates of the Caribbean? Are they
Yeah.
zombies?
I think they'd be zombies. I mean,
That's the scene I thought we had. That he just like walks out
Guess
the
I
door.
best go find me
just
a
pops
doctor
and it's
in
awesome.
town.
Okay, so we gotta go to Blackwater.
John just walks like a badass.
Oh yeah.
So did Arthur though. Arthur walked like a badass too.
Alright, run. There we go.
Yeah,
Gotta have-
we're playing a PS3 game with an Xbox.
Yeah, it's taking some getting used to.
Oh, there's your horse.
Come on. Come on.
There's a little bit of a lag in the controls. Yeah, it's really good. Like, it reminds me a lot of Shadow of the Colossus. Like, as far as like the world itself is, because it's a lot of like traversal and stuff, right? But even though the world, I don't know, the world just feels so alive. And I know they're very different worlds because this one's actually, you know, it's got a lot going on in it and stuff like that. Whereas Shadow of the Colossus, it's an empty world, you know. There's not a lot going on, but it feels meaningful. Does that make sense?
I think the Red Dead Redemption games, and particularly Witcher 3, Witcher 2 to some extent, but specifically Witcher
Wonder
3,
what happened
Sure.
here.
their worlds feel very similar to me.
Yeah.
It's very much like I could go in any direction and find something.
Something very dynamic,
Yeah.
you know,
And interesting.
to where it feels natural
Yeah.
to stumble across these things.
And that's what I loved about the original Red Dead Redemption. You went anywhere, you found something to do.
Hmm.
And same with Witcher 3. No matter where you went, there was always something.
Mr. Marston, sir! Marston! It's me!
And I think
Professor,
master that.
what are you doing here? I thought you went back to Yale.
I did, but
Yeah.
I came back for another round of research, and now all hell is quite literally broken loose.
It's
What is
massive.
going on?
And there's so many little
Well, sir, I'm a
hidden
man of
things,
science, a
you
man
know.
of great learning, a thinker, a wise man, and I'll be honest with you, sir, I haven't got a fucking clue.
Well, ain't that dandy?
What should we do?
Well, I suggest we try to find other survivors, band together, and find a cure. Or fight to the death
Yeah.
trying.
It's awesome.
That sounds great and all, but I'm just peachy. But I'm not sure that I'm.
Well,
not
I also
up
love
for such
Red Dead
shenanigans.
Redemption 2
I was
because throughout the
doing
whole
more
thing
than
it's just like,
finding a
John's
horse
kind of a
and
tool.
riding back to the civilized
In the
north
early days,
at the
you know.
speed of knots before writing a paper on the events from the comfort of my study. I'm a scientist after all, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
can't do much science if I'm some bloodshot dervish's lunch, can I? Much as I would like.
Your sense of duty is very impressive, Professor. I'm gonna search the back street for
Yeah,
survivors.
you kind of see their relationship.
Perhaps staying with you would be safer. Could you just wait a sec here, would you please?
It's lived
I'm
in.
going to wander
It's-
down that lonely, deserted street
Yes.
and get my bag.
She knows what to expect.
Wait,
Mhm.
you should stay with me, Professor. You haven't got a gun.
Oh, no, it's okay. There's no need to
Well,
worry.
it's
Everyone's
Arthur
already
having to like
I left my
tell
stuff with
John to
Mr.
get his shit
Nastas.
together,
You remember
you
him?
know.
Indian fellow, dumb as bricks, but a good sort.
Okay. Well, meet me in a couple minutes.
Affirmative. A couple of
Yeah.
minutes.
Man, Arthur's he might make it.
Let's talk about the only for the rest of the year that we do anything about. A potential reveal of the Silent Hill game on a PS5.
Dude, I have lost all like patience. I don't know. It's like I don't either. I like smashed him. Yeah, like I want a new Silent Hill game, but it's just like, what are they waiting for to reveal it? Like, yeah. I know, I'm trying to. How are they not dying? They're like strong zombies. I will. It is a little bit like. Well, it's not wonky. It's just like there's a weird lag, and so it's throwing me off. Oh, that was wild. That was yeah, that was pretty funny. sure.
My point is,
I kind of forgot we were playing Red Dead Redemption.
oh yeah, you can do Deadeye. This was one of my favorites.
Oh, it's great.
But with Silent Hill, what are they going to like?
It's
What
got
are they really gonna do with it?
okay. If they're gonna do it, it's got to be a reboot.
Exactly.
Like they can't just make another sequel after Downpour back on the PlayStation 3. Like that's not a good move.
Can't do Silent Hill 5.
No, they've just got to do a complete reboot. And I feel like I don't know.
And
They
have Pyramid Head be the main antagonist.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like they need to do something a little bit more competent than like I love Pyramid Head. Don't get me wrong, but it feels like such an easy decision. You know.
Right. Well, that's why I'm saying if they aren't going with the Silent Hills, which maybe they are.
Are they though?
They're kind of friends now.
It's so all over the place.
I mean, how long ago was that?
5 years? It's been longer.
Persona 5 scored. Curtis says he can't.
No? I will say the intro is very slow. But once you get off the mountains and get out of the snow,
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
you get to where the world actually opens up and you can go do whatever it is that you want. It is really really good.
Hmm.
And I spent about 2 hours shaving.
Yeah.
But there, I mean, even just going hunting, like that game is just fun to open up and
Well, yeah, it's
go
got
hunt
like,
some deer.
well, and not only that, like the legendary hunts and the fishing that you can do in it, like everything in it is fun.
Yeah.
And you know, and even like all the little Easter eggs and stuff, and like there's tons of creepy stuff in that game that you can stumble across. Like there's Bigfoot sightings, there's a weird devil cave that supposedly
There's a
there's a dude in there that like is maybe Satan living in a cave.
Right.
There's freaking aliens. There's a death cult in a cabin full of skeletons. Like there's a vampire.
Yeah.
There's a vampire that
There's a
you can
vampire,
track down.
Curtis.
It's awesome. And that's all just size up. The swamp people that scare the crap out of you in the dark.
Can I say something very controversial?
Sure.
I'm not excited for Cyberpunk.
I'm excited for it.
I'm not. I'm not.
I don't think I would be as excited as I am for it if it wasn't
CG Projekt Red.
CG Project Red.
I know. They made The Witcher and everything, and I don't know. I'm not. Shadowrun is about as sci-fi. What is that? What is that?
Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
Anyone here?
Cyberpunk. That's what
Steampunk.
it is.
Steampunk.
Anyone here?
I don't know. I mean, I'll buy it and I'll play it because I'm a gamer, and it's like the game
out.
of the year. I know it will be.
It's okay.
I know it'll be game of the year.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Come out.
Unless they push
I don't
through with
bite.
Last of Us 2 and make it Game of the Year because it's so stunning and
I
amazing.
mean,
It's not.
come out.
They killed my family,
I'm
mister.
being sarcastic.
And mine, I fear.
I'm being very sarcastic and disingenuous.
Cyberpunk.
Okay, so yeah, so I haven't played Cyberpunk. I'm trying to remember what came out this year though. Like that's the problem. Like
The Resident Evil 3 remake. But can you give that game of the year?
no. Same reason we didn't give Resident Evil 2
3 years from the smallpox.
remake Game of the Year.
Baldur's Gate, it's not completely out.
Mama was
It's
dead?
the first 20 hours.
What else came out this year, man?
I saw her walk
There was-
onto the porch.
Ghost of Tsushima. I would give
She
Game
ate
of the
my
Year.
daddy.
I can see that.
You weren't. You
Ghost
weren't a bad
Ghost of
man,
Tsushima
mister.
was fantastic.
What
You
else was
weren't.
That's the problem.
Sure.
This year's been
He likes to
so
drink,
with
but
quarantine.
Yeah,
and
you
everything,
weren't
I've played
bad.
so many games.
It
so
feels
many old
it feels
games.
like it's
Sure,
been
he
3
likes
years.
company of women.
I have no idea what
But you weren't
actually
bad,
came out
mister.
this
He
year.
was.
Yeah, like did
No one deserves
did
to have their
Sekiro come
blood
out this
drawn.
year or was that last year?
No,
Was that
it was
2019?
He knew how to
Shadows
use his
Die
fist.
Twice, or
Yeah,
what was that?
yeah.
It was
If a
the end
woman
of
spoke
last
out
year.
her place, he reminded her of it and everything.
I think so.
On
And when my mama was dying,
We'll get to the bottom of
I
this.
think
said that
for
he
me it
was
would be
lying
Ghost of
with her sister,
Tsushima,
but that weren't true, mister.
but I'm having real trouble
But you said your mother was dead.
figuring out what came out.
Her and Mr. Braithwaite. He's been dead a year.
Hey, Jason.
And then yesterday, he walked up that street eating dogs.
Yeah, so next
He
week,
loves
Friday for
animals.
sure, we're gonna be streaming Demon Souls.
All the
Final
dead
Fantasy
folk
remake?
have come back
Okay.
to life, mister.
Again, a remake,
Only they
Okay,
ain't
fine,
but it's different
but
enough.
It's not a remake.
It's a funny kind of salvation.
Okay.
So I
All the
couldn't
dead
see
folk?
that one being Game of the
All
Year.
the folk buried at the cemetery
Marvel's
over by the
Avengers,
churchyard.
which was crap.
Yeah. That's not even worth talking
Doom
about.
Eternal.
No, I
Wanna
wouldn't
go
give that
have
game
a
a year.
look?
Doom.
Control was
You wanna
actually
come?
really good.
I haven't
I
played
already
Control
seen
yet.
my mama.
It's actually
I keep
really
needing to
I don't
get
need
to
see
that
any
one.
more of my relatives.
Animal Crossing New Horizons
Here,
came
mister.
out this year.
Okay.
Take this.
That could be.
You can
just, I
burn
mean, I
them.
know that has
Maybe
a
you can put
crazy
their souls
following.
I think that would be Nintendo's best.
Maybe.
Mister!
Uh,
You
well, we
see
do
my
have
Uncle Mordecai.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming out next week.
Burn him.
That could.
That's
be,
true.
Real
That
good,
could
you
be
hear?
a Game of the Year contender.
I'm excited for that one.
Maybe. Maybe. Crusader Kings 3. That would definitely be.
You like
my
you
Game of the
you
Year.
like that one?
That game was awesome, and I've spent probably 100 hours in it already. Half-Life Alyx.
Just get away, Bo!
That's the VR open
That's right. The kind of.
roast.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it's really good.
Next time,
Yeah, I forgot about that one
try
too.
not believing in reincarnation.
Monster Hunter World Iceborne came out. That was a pretty big deal.
Was that an expansion though, or was that?
Yeah, it was kind of it is its own expansion. Warcraft 3 Reforged came out.
Okay. But I heard that one had a lot of
It did have
problems.
a lot of issues. It had a lot of issues, but it still was Warcraft 3, which is awesome. What else did we get? Yakuza 5
Okay.
was a pretty big deal.
Yakuza's always a solid game.
Darksiders Genesis came out as well.
I didn't play that one. That was the weird top-down one, right?
Yeah. Street Fighter 5 came out in February.
Yeah. Did Mortal Kombat 11 come out this year, or was that last year? That was last year, right? Okay. That was an interesting game. I don't know if it would be Game of the Year material, but it was good. Yeah.
Vampire the Masquerade.
That would be a contender. That would be a contender.
And I am crazy excited about that game.
Yeah, me too.
Which, yeah, okay, I'm gonna play Cyberpunk.
Sure.
Until Vampire the Masquerade comes out.
Sure.
Even better, I'll actually play it.
Oh yeah, that remaster.
That's a good game.
Yeah, that's a very good game. What? That was weird.
Predator Hunting Grounds.
That was a fun game. I don't think it would be Game of the Year contender, but it was good. Yeah, a lot of remakes and like remasters.
The XCOM 2 collection came out.
Mhm.
The Bioshock collection came out.
sums up my luck recently.
When it came out. Is that a PS2 game?
Persona 4.
Yeah. Wow. That was pretty cool. Sure.
Everlasting torment.
Yeah.
Wanted it to be, but it was just I felt like it was too short. Like I think I beat that game. 3 hours, 4 hours.
What is it? Oh yeah, I forgot about Death Stranding. Yeah.
Did it come out this year? Did it come out in March?
Oh shoot.
I feel like it came out way before Christmas.
Might be right. Right. No, I haven't played that one yet. Yeah, I hear it's good.
Trying my patience.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of big, like, new games.
Wasteland 3 came out.
Okay.
Useless.
That was a pretty big game.
When did Outer Worlds come out? Was that this year?
Seth,
That was this year.
finally I've joined you.
I could see that one winning some type of award.
Seth, I'm sorry
The-
about all the insults.
Marvel's Avengers could have. I mean, it just was bad.
Yeah.
But
Just-
it should have been a.
Should have been a big game.
It should have been a big game, but I feel like it
Not my day.
Yeah. You don't
we don't hear about it.
just kind of showed up and then was gone.
Kingdom of Amalur Reckoning.
Oh yeah.
Super Mario 3D All Stars. I mean, that's a really good game. It's just very puzzling to me as to why they didn't include Galaxy 2 in it.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about it.
Like, just include the Galaxy games. One game.
Well, and like Cash was saying he wanted it, and I was like, well, we have Galaxy, we have Mario 64 on both the N64 and the 3DS. Like, so do I really want to
Yeah, you're playing.
pay that money just for Sunshine? Like, if it goes down in price, if it drops down to a greatest hits, you know, and it's $20, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But again, I still feel like I'm going to miss some of my favorite levels from Galaxy are in Galaxy 2.
Some of the standout ones, yeah.
Abigail, I failed you.
Yeah, they could.
Please just stay
Yeah.
dead.
Crash Bandicoot 4.
I
That
need
could
some
have-
help.
That could be a game.
That could be.
It was really
Yeah, yeah, it was fun.
It was a long fun. We haven't had a long time.
Stay away from me.
Right. We will stream that when it costs $5. Yes. That's what I heard. It's a new story. It's not a retelling of Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I think so. Yeah. Oh yeah. I wonder how that was. Yeah, and then Little Hope.
Which got really, really good reviews.
We didn't stream Animadam. We didn't even ever stream Until Dawn. That's one that we should stream. That's a great game. It's a PS4 game for sure, so we could play it easy. Yeah. Right.
Slim pickings off the undead. Comes to my pound of flesh.
No, that was a couple years ago actually. That's pretty old now.
Unlucky.
That one hasn't actually released yet, and it was originally supposed to be called Skull and Crossbones or Skull and Bones. But I don't think it. I kind of low key think it got canceled quietly because it's never come out.
Demon Souls remake. They're releasing Borderlands 3 for the PS5 on launch.
Are they?
I don't understand that.
That's weird.
And No Man's Sky.
That is weird. Yep. Speaking of things refusing.
Yeah, seriously. Just Dance 2021. I feel like Spider-Man Miles Morales might actually
I'm excited for that game.
do well.
That game will be fun.
And Sackboy: A Big Adventure. I'm excited for that one too. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
That one will be
Coming out.
interesting.
That should be a really interesting one. How that does. World of Warcraft Shadowlands. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest 11, the definitive edition. Cyberpunk 2077. Oh, so if I go to PS5, I have to buy it on PS4 this year.
Yeah, it's not a PS5 game. It's so crazy that it's taken this long to come out that it feels like it should be a PS5 game.
It should be a PS5 game. But maybe it'll be one of those that you can buy on the PS4 and still play it on the PS5.
I think it'll be backwards compatible. Okay.
That's all we got, man. Those were them.
Well, I think we've given him a taste of Undead Nightmare. If you like Red Dead Redemption, I mean, this is more reason to play Red Dead Redemption. It's a silly, kind of cheesy, pulpy zombie game
Yeah.
in the universe, and it does a lot of fun things. So if you like Red Dead Redemption and you like cheesy horror, you'll like this.
for sure.
It's an easy play.
And it's fairly short too.
Yeah, it's
And
not long.
it's standalone.
Yep, you don't even need the base game.
Yeah.
You can buy it on its own.
Yeah, I think you can beat the whole story in 5 hours.
I think it's 5 hours. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
It's pretty short.
It's fun.
It is a lot of fun. I'd love to see it again. But if you haven't played the original
Oh yeah,
Red
it.
Dead Redemption, I mean, go play it.
Yep, you need to go
It's
play it.
definitely worth it. In fact, I think the original Red Dead Redemption was in our top 10 list
Yep,
plays,
it was.
along with The Last of Us.
Man, The Last of Us is so good. I think that's why I'm so disappointed with The Last of Us 2. Is it's like nothing.
Well, I feel like we had the same conversation when Arkham Knight came out.
Yeah, it's like
It's
nothing mattered.
nothing mattered. The
You undid everything.
Yeah, but the combat and the gameplay was a lot of fun.
Sure.
It was a lot of fun. I felt that way about Last of Us 2.
Hmm.
The combat and gameplay was really
It
really
was
fun.
great. It was beautiful.
I
It
gave
was a
a
pretty
shit about
game.
the story,
Yep, but the story was just.
and that's Arkham Knight
It
for
was
me.
it was brutal. It was depressing, but not in a way that's meaningful, like
Right,
the first one was. Like
right.
the first one, like was heavy.
Mhm.
This one, it was just like gratuitous.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think that was my biggest problem with it.
Well, and I think the main reason is because they lost kind of that emotional anchor in Joel.
Yep.
Ellie is a good character, but there's not as much stakes. And the original Last of Us did such an amazing job in those first 10 minutes of making you feel the stakes.
Yeah.
Where Joel loses his daughter,
Yep.
and you're like, oh shit, this game's not pulling any punches. And then you have to go, you as the player have to play throughout the rest of the game with the weight of knowing that you watched Joel's daughter die.
And it does such a good job of doing that that by the time you make that ultimate choice, you're mad at Joel for doing it, but
Yeah,
you get it.
you get it.
You get it.
You
And I
get it.
think and I think that's also what I don't like about the second game is it's like yeah, it sucks that Joel dies in it.
Which,
But the
in a
excuse like
completely uncharacteristic way.
exactly. But and I also don't mind if they wanted to kill Joel off.
No, I
I have
don't
no
either.
problem with that.
I don't either.
But don't preach to me and say, well, Joel deserved to die. No, I am fully aware of what he did.
Yeah,
I understand that.
right. I made that choice as the gamer.
Yeah, he can go out better than completely going against his instincts and everything that he did through the entire first game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, make his death be meaningful, not just cheap shock value.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with it. And it was cheap, and then not only that, they doubled down on it when people started complaining about it, be like, oh, well, you just don't understand it, and you do realize that Joel was a bad guy. It's like, yeah, I get it. I know what he did.
Sure.
Make it meaningful still. Like he's still a good character, even if he made some shitty decisions.
Well,
But you
but did he
get
make
why.
shitty
But
decisions?
you understand why he made shitty
That's what
decisions.
I'm saying. Like, I can't make the argument that he made a
No.
shitty decision.
Would I
It
have
was
made a different
justified in
decision?
the universe.
Yeah, I would have made that decision,
Yeah. Does
and
that
I
mean
would,
I'm a bad person?
and I'd be able to square.
Exactly.
I'd be okay with it because I understood what I was doing.
Yeah, and it just felt like the whole story for The Last of Us Part Two was a complete letdown of everything that they built in Last of Us.
I think so too.
I refuse to call it Part One. It
No,
is
it's The
The
Last
Last
of
of
Us,
Us.
and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, and honestly, don't I don't care.
And it was even more disappointing because Naughty Dog has been a solid developer,
Yeah.
with whole Uncharted series and then this, and I expected more.
Right.
And I don't want to say that they played to the woke crowd because that's a stupid argument as well. But I feel like they kind of lost sight of what made the first game special.
Right.
And I think
Well,
they
and I
and
think part of
I
the
think they cheapened its legacy with what they decided to do with the second game.
yeah. Well, and I do think that you have to look at it. The Last of Us came out at a very specific moment in time
Hmm.
that we had never seen anything like it before.
Right.
We had seen
It's in zombie
them
games.
building to it.
Sure.
We had seen, like, if you look at Uncharted.
Hmm.
Uncharted follows similar cinematic
Sure.
themes,
Sure.
but that hard-hitting punch from the beginning, and I feel like The Last of Us is such a roller coaster ride right up until that scene in Salt Lake, and then it's like it gives you
It's
a
such a
tiny little
beautiful
breather,
moment.
and then it
You're right
rumbles
back in it. Yep.
right into the end, and it's so amazing. It's just, I mean,
It's
it was
great.
breathtaking when it came out,
Yeah.
and now a lot of games have followed in that step, and we're kind of used to that cinematic,
Sure.
well. And then they came out with The Last of Us Part 2, and it was basically them just doing the same thing that they had done in The Last of Us. There was really no innovation. And I think that's why I was let down, is because I hold The Last of Us as honestly one of the best, if not the best game ever made.
Yeah, it deserves to be up there.
And I really wanted them to try and give us something new.
Hmm.
And I don't feel like there was anything new.
Well, they need, yeah, like you said, they need to iterate on what they've already built,
Yeah.
and they didn't do that with The Last of Us 2. They went for gratuity and shock value.
And it felt like a sequel
Yep.
instead of a
I
main
almost
game.
and I almost feel like if they wanted to do it, they should have gone in a bit of a different direction and not have the story focused on Ellie.
Yeah, I
Have it
felt
have
like
it have it be a different characters completely different. I mean, they did bring Abby in.
we did have the kind of the DLC
Sure.
that focused on Ellie. But what I would have loved to have seen is if they would have taken a whole new character, even if they would have had the two leaders of the cult.
Yeah, the
I don't remember what their names
I
are.
don't either, but
But focused on that and said, okay, because Joel and Ellie did this, the rest of the world had to deal with that.
yeah, show the
And
fallout.
told
And,
us that
and
story.
that's another thing. They made such a big deal about the virus and how important Ellie was to stopping the virus. There's not really a lot of virus fallout in the second game. There's not really a lot of zombies.
No, I don't feel like there's any fallout
You're
from what
fighting
happened at the end of
you're
the
fighting normal people for the
right,
most of that game.
right.
Okay, so was it really a big deal that Joel made that decision?
No.
No, you cheapened the ending.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like there was absolutely no consequences for what happened in The Last of
Hmm.
Us, to the point where
Other than, oh well, Joel has to die because he's a bad guy
right.
because of what he did.
But you can't build a whole game around
Yeah,
that.
that's not good enough
And it was
though.
a really crappy story.
Yeah, it was a
And
horrible
if
story.
they, I mean, because they created such an interesting world for us to explore, and I wish they would have given us someone completely unrelated to that story for us to see how the world changed because of that choice that Joel made.
Yeah,
Because I don't think we got to see that,
yeah.
and
We
that was part of my disappointment.
they needed to give us the ebbs and flows of the world they created, and you know, the impact of the decisions that were made.
Right. Well, it's like if we were to get a sequel for Lord of the Rings, and it was just like, oh yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No,
You know,
nothing that
nothing really
nothing that
mattered.
the Fellowship did mattered.
They destroyed the ring and destroyed Sauron.
But nothing
Nothing
really
really mattered. There's
changed.
still orcs running around
Yeah,
killing
you
people.
still get to kill orcs. You still get to.
Nothing really changed. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Exactly. Like,
Like it would be a major letdown.
yeah, it feels like bad fan fiction
Right.
more than
Well,
anything.
and I think that's the argument with Arkham Knight. That
Sure.
what is the fallout of killing the Joker?
Yeah. None,
None.
because
Joker's still here.
Joker's still in it.
Yeah, it's all good.
And not only that, like
No
it
worries.
wasn't even like with Arkham Knight, they weren't even brave enough to make their own story.
Nope.
It's just a reskinned version of Under the Red Hood,
Exactly.
which is a fine story. Sure,
Sure.
you can
Sure,
take
it's a fine
you
story.
can take inspiration from that.
But why lie to us about it?
Exactly. Don't lie to us, and don't act like people who are playing Batman aren't Batman fans and don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Come on, guys.
It's a whole new character. Okay, I'll give you Arkham Knight. The name is a whole new character.
Yeah, his armor's new. I haven't seen his
Everything else
armor.
about it was stupid.
Yeah,
I had such high hopes, dude, when that game first started and it was Scarecrow, and like the opening 30 minutes of Arkham Knight,
it's fantastic.
fantastic, and then it was just a dumpster fire.
Yeah, and then it just becomes all about driving the Batmobile around and
And having a
doing
mental
stuff.
breakdown and listening to the Joker.
Yeah, lame.
Lame.
And now we get Gotham Knights. Okay, thanks.
With no Batman,
No Batman,
but Court of
but Court of
Owls.
Owls, one of the best Batman stories ever written.
Yeah.
But let's take Batman out of the equation.
Although, what happened with Zack Snyder? I feel like everything he's done has gone downhill since Bloom.
Well, like I want to read uh, Death Metal,
Yeah, Death Metal.
but I don't trust it because Dark Knight's metal was so stupid.
It was stupid.
Like, and not even in a fun way.
Even
Even the
the
Batman Who
Batman Who
Laughs.
Laughs, which
Eh,
I bought the oversized hardcover because I was like, oh, I know I'm gonna love this. It's the Batman Who Laughs, and there's awesome moments in it,
sure.
but ultimately it was a letdown.
Well, not only that, I think they went way overboard with the edginess of the Batman Who Laughs as a character
Yeah,
to the point where it's kind of dumb and silly. It feels like it's a character. It it feels like a '90s character like Spawn,
Sure, kind
but
of.
not in a
Yeah.
good way, not in a fun way. Because Spawn's a fun character
Right.
because it's self-aware of how dumb it is.
Right.
I don't think the Batman Who Laughs. I don't think they're in on the joke.
No.
I think they're trying to make him edgy and cool and
Well, and I think that he worked really, really well in the pages of Dark Knight's Metal because he was a servant to Barbados, and he wasn't the ultimate bad guy, and he wasn't going up against Batman. He was going up against all of the other members of the Justice League and
mm-hmm.
everything, and so he was a really good foil for the Justice League because it was like, what if Batman went evil? How are we going to take care of him? And like, and I think he worked really, really well within the pages of that story
Sure.
because he's definitely the highlight of that arc.
Sure.
But in his own story, where he is the main villain and he is going up against Batman, he just kind of falls flat.
Well, it's because he works better when he's more in the shadows and you don't have a full
Yes.
understanding and a full origin and a full explanation of why he is the way he is. It's like
Right.
the more they shine a light on his backstory and stuff, the less interesting he becomes.
Well,
It's
and
like it's like the problem with Star Wars. The more we learn about the Force and what the Force is, the less intriguing it is.
oh, I go so far as to say the more we learn about Anakin, the more of a pansy he became.
Sure.
Like Darth Vader in the original series
Fantastic.
is
Because he's so
beyond
mysterious
crazy and
and
creepy and
scary.
scary and intimidating. And then we got, oh, here's Anakin. I hate sand. It
Yeah.
gets everywhere. And he loses all of that mystery and terror
hmm
because we know too much about him.
Yeah. It's just there's too much
And again, this
too
I
much.
would make the argument.
They humanize it too much.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with Batman: The Three Jokers.
Okay.
Is they try so hard to explain the mythology of the Joker and his origin. And I mean, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but
Spoilers.
in the very last issue, Batman confesses something about the Joker that is, I literally, if I would have had the physical version of the comic in my hand, I would have burned it
Yeah.
because it was like,
It's that dumb.
you are shitting me right now. Like, there's absolutely no way, no way that that was true. And besides the fact that I don't even know where that comic fits in canon, it's got to be like a what if story or something, because I
If
have
they
no
try to
idea
make
where
it,
it
if they
fits.
try to fit it in canonically, that's a stupid move.
Yeah, because it's dumb. The whole thing from the okay, so the first issue, I was like, all right, I'm along for the ride. This is gonna be interesting. Second issue, I was like, going off the rails here, guys. Third issue was a dumpster fire. It was just absolute dump. And besides the fact that it was only 3 issues, why? Why?
Okay, here's how I feel about it all. I feel like Scott Snyder and what he did with Court of Owls is akin to what they did with Batman and the Joker in the Nolan trilogy,
Sure.
as well as Scarecrow and Bane and how they all fit in. It was cool. It was interesting. Yeah, it had some shortfalls here and there and
Right.
missteps,
Right.
but overall, it was generally cool. I feel like with Death Metal and the three, or not Death Metal because I haven't read that
Dark
one,
Knight's
but
Metal.
Dark Knight's Metal and the Three Jokers. I do know a little bit about the Three Jokers. I haven't gone through all of it, but I'm kind of following it. But I feel it's more of the Suicide Squad Joker
Sure.
Jared Leto style, where it's like, yeah, let's just try to make him as crazy as he can because that's cool and that's what's going to be scary, but it doesn't work because there's no mystery to it.
Yeah.
It's like, how am I supposed to take Jared Leto seriously when he's being so weird and stupid off screen,
Mhm.
on set and behind the scenes? And so when that's actually translated to the film, it just comes off as a caricature in a bad Halloween costume.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Whereas Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker was a serious take on it, a considered approach to it, and actually brought, some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
Well,
kind of
and I
feel
always
that's where
feel
we're
that
at.
was my problem with the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix
Okay.
was the reason the Joker works as a villain is because he has no past and he has no future. He literally is a agent of chaos in the present.
Sure.
That's why he works. That's why he's scary. Like arguably one of the greatest Joker stories, Killing Joke.
hmm
You know, when he shoots Barbara, you don't know that's coming.
Yeah.
Like you have no clue what's prepare for this, he's just absolutely bonkers. And I feel like the way that they portrayed him in the Joker movie kind of lessened that. It kind of made it seem like, and their whole tagline was, you know, one bad day can ruin a person.
Hmm.
And I understand what they were going for, but at the same time, it's like I said with Anakin, understanding where he came from and giving him that empathy and giving him that kind of removes a bit of the fear.
Well, it's the idea, it's this idea that origin stories are fine and stuff like that, and because the Killing Joke, it works off that basis too, that one bad day.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like you said, but it works because it doesn't actually go back and show us everything beat by beat. It's like, no, there's the implication there,
right.
and that's more interesting than the
Well, and
actual.
we don't know if he's actually telling the truth or what's
Exactly.
going on
Like
or
we
what's
don't, yeah,
happening. We
because he's
don't
a
know.
very unreliable narrator, and it's better to have those things existing in the margins, and you fill in those gaps yourself,
Right,
and it makes it much more interesting, rather than, no, we're gonna spoon feed you everything about this character, and then we expect you to be completely on board with it, with how crazy they are.
right.
And it's
And
like,
I
well,
do
it,
feel like
it, it doesn't work that way.
the Joker movie kind of did that a little bit with trying to like at the end when it revealed like not everything you've seen actually happened and
Sure, sure.
everything like that revealed, but I feel like they needed to have revealed that a little bit earlier so that we were questioning everything we were
As
seeing
we're watching it,
as we're watching it
I think it
rather
does.
than going
Yeah,
back and saying, well, what bits were real, what bits weren't.
I think looking at it through that perspective, it does work better on subsequent viewings once you do know
Sure.
that,
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
I feel like
As
with the movie,
an initial viewing, it's like,
yeah, until you have that piece of information, like he was not actually having a relationship with that girl. Like
right.
that didn't actually happen.
So what else didn't
So what
actually
else didn't
happen?
actually happen? Like,
Did he actually go meet Bruce Wayne? Did he
yeah,
actually get
did that
punched in the
actually?
face by Thomas Wayne?
Yeah,
Was there actually a relationship between his mother and Thomas Wayne, or was that all just gaslighting?
yeah.
So did
There
he
is a
actually
lot.
kill
Yeah,
people? You know,
yeah, and
or has he been
that
in,
last
or has he
scene.
been in a facility the whole time?
Yeah, we don't know.
So
But that's my point. Like I feel like if they would have revealed that bit of information and made sure that we knew he was an unreliable narrator,
it would,
it
yeah,
would have kept some of that fear.
yeah, it would have held the mystique.
And it would have definitely made the movie a lot more intense because we would have been sitting there saying, is this happening? Is this happening? Because we know not everything is happening. So is what's going on right now actually happening?
Hmm.
And I think that it would have made the movie a little bit more bearable for me
Sure.
because the whole time I'm watching it, I'm building an emotional connection with the Joker.
Hmm.
And is
You
that
don't,
really a
don't want to
character
be.
you
You
want?
don't want to
Yeah,
build an
you
emotion.
don't want to.
No, you don't want to feel
He's a
anything for
horrible
him.
character.
You
He's a
don't want to
horrible
sympathize
person.
with him. You don't want to feel
Right.
sorry for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that like particularly in the movie that I in the theater that I went to as we left the movie theater, everyone's like, "Yeah, well, if that shit would have happened to me, I would have gone crazy and killed people too." No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You can say that walking out of a movie theater,
Sure.
but really, are you really gonna go shoot a person on live
Right.
TV?
Exactly.
Like,
And it's
I
like
guess that
I
was my
think
issue.
yeah, and it's like I think the point they were trying to make was a little bit lost and muddied.
Yeah, because they did one. I think Joaquin Phoenix did an amazing job as
Because
an
yeah,
actor.
well, he's fantastic anyways.
I have no qualms with how he portrayed the character.
And I love a lot of the visual choices
Oh
they
yeah,
made.
the
I love a
dancing
lot.
down the
Yeah,
steps
I love.
was great.
Yeah, just I love that final scene where he stands up on the car and the blood makes
Yeah.
the smile. Like it's beautiful to look at.
Well, and it's very Joker,
Yeah.
but it's still Joker.
Hmm.
And I think that was the message that got lost for me. Was they tried to turn him, and even at that end scene, that was the moment that I was like, I hate this movie. Is they turned him into a hero, not an anti-hero. They literally had people lifting him up on their shoulders and parading him
Sure.
around.
Sure.
Now again, did that actually happen? Or was that him imagining it? We
Right.
don't know. But within the context of the film, it really does make it seem like that happened. And I'm like, this is not a guy for us to be parading around on our shoulders.
Sure.
And I feel like they kind of that ruined it a little bit for me. That ruined the movie for me. Um,
So I think to bring it back to what we've been kind of dancing around, what we've been trying to talk about is like
Last of Us Part Two sucks.
sure,
That's
but
really the point.
when crafting these stories, I think it's important to remember that we don't need to have all the information spoon fed to us. I think viewers and consumers of media and stuff like that and readers are smarter than we're often given credit
Oh, for
for.
sure.
You know what I mean? We can read in between the lines. We can understand the subtleties. We can understand the implications.
Right. Well, and I think that that's why the Uncharted series works so well.
Sure.
Is because from Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 4, Nathan Drake goes through quite the journey.
Yeah.
And his relationship with Sully changes and
Hmm.
all of that stuff. But it's we don't know everything. Like there's still a lot of questions at the end of Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what about, and that's what makes it interesting to talk about and go back and replay and dig into is because we don't have all of those answers. And I think that like the Red Dead Redemption games do a really good job of that too.
Hmm.
It's like we don't get until we had Red Dead Redemption 2 at least,
We
we had
didn't.
no idea what this, Dutch's gang had done and all of this kind of stuff. We didn't know.
They were just kind of an outlier
Yeah,
idea.
and it was just they were bad people and John was a part of their group and now he's going and killing them.
Hmm.
And that was enough. And then we got Red Dead Redemption 2 and we got Arthur and told that whole story and it explained a lot of stuff from Red Dead Redemption 1, but it still left some things
Well,
a
it,
mystery.
well, and you also see that because in playing Red Dead Redemption One, you're in the back of your mind, you're questioning. It's like, well, why is John willing to go after his
Right.
old gang
Yeah.
if it was such an important part of his life, you know?
Right.
Because throughout the game, it's like, yeah, Dutch took us in and raised us, and all that stuff. It's like, well, then why are you hunting him down? Like, I get that the feds have your family and stuff like that, but there's got to be something else that happened,
Right.
like that. And I think Red Dead Redemption 2 shows that very well of how things started to unravel
Yeah.
and how Micah
How bad it.
influenced Dutch and how Dutch just kind of lost it towards the end and
Right.
kind of forsook
Because at the
everything that he
beginning,
began preaching and kind of
yeah,
became a hypocritical jackass.
at the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 2, Dutch is a very likable
He's
character.
very likable. He's very charismatic, and
Yeah.
but then you slowly see him start to unravel, and you see
Yep.
the seams, and you start to you're with Arthur along that journey of disenfranchisement with it,
Exactly.
and just kind of questioning it all, kind of like, I don't know if Dutch really does have a plan,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that
and dealing with those feelings of no, Dutch is a father figure, I should be loyal to him, but he's kind of being a jackass
yeah.
over and over again.
Well, and Arthur does a magnificent job of
Yes.
bringing that to light.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I like Arthur so well is because he is conflicted.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time he has a moral compass
Yes.
and Dutch doesn't really.
No, and I think that's the key point is Dutch does not his compass is broken or he lost it somewhere along the way. But Arthur maintains his moral compass to the point where he changes course.
Which is why the ending is so
So powerful.
so friggin' gutting, dude.
Yep, I love it
Ah,
so
it's
much.
so good. But I think again like pointing out those games is okay, well what games do we actually like? Silent Hill 2 again is a great story, but it leaves all of that mystery still there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, we infer
Sure.
that Pyramid Head is James, and there's no real
Yeah, there's
concrete
no actual
evidence.
evidence for it.
We don't. Is the stuff happening in Silent Hill 2
Hmm.
actually happening? Is it all in James's mind? Did he like? His wife's body still in the back of the trunk?
Sure.
Like, what's going on
Yeah.
here? How did we get a letter from her? Like, all of those things leave when you finish that game, regardless of what ending you get, unless you get the weird alien with the dog ending, which that's just gonna throw you off as to what the hell's going
Which
on
is
here.
just meant to be weird and silly.
Right. But any of the other endings, there even if he leaves with Maria,
Yeah.
you're still left there saying,
Well,
what the hell just happened?
it's undercut by this. And the early Silent Hill games did this very well, and it's part of the magic that people talk about that they want with a new Silent Hill game that some of the later games lack. It's everything is undercut with this feeling of something's just not quite right. Something's a
Right.
little bit off with this, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I can't quite identify it,
Yeah.
but you feel it in your bones. You're just kind of like, why do I feel skeeved out by this? Why is James looking in the mirror at the beginning of the game such an unsettling feeling?
Right. Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think,
I think PT really, really nailed that
yes,
because and we talk about this every time we play it, but the opening quote for and
Hmm.
only you. And I think that sums up Silent Hill really, really well.
Sure.
Because even in Silent Hill 2, James isn't the only James in the game.
No.
And you're going through and trying and you're confronted with all of those different versions of yourself. And I feel like that's what PT does. As you're going through the hall, you're getting more and more annoyed and more afraid and more
What the hell?
unsettled, and you're forced with this facing okay, I'm what is actually going on in this hallway.
And not only that, in the starting room with all the tally marks on the wall, it's like, how long
Have we been
have
doing
I
this?
been doing this, and how many interpretations, how many variations on this hallway have I gone through?
Yeah.
You know, how many do I? Is it a life cycle where when I walk through the door at the end, do I die and I'm reborn at the beginning?
Yeah.
Like, is that something that exists in the margins? Is that what's going on? 'Cause you die in the game, at least it does kill you in the game, and then you
Right.
just get back up again. So is something like that happening every time? Is it just a soft reboot? Every time you go through,
Right. No idea.
to the point where the game actually, reboots itself,
Yeah.
as part of it. Like, it's interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yes, we're still here, but that's probably a good time to wrap it
Yes,
up, I
that is
guess.
a good time to wrap up. Thanks everybody for watching,
Yeah, thanks, Curtis. Thanks, Jason.
and everybody else that didn't
And
talk.
yep, we love you too.
Yep. And we will
We'll be here next week. I think Lance and I.
definitely streaming
Yes, for sure.
Demon Souls.
Yep.
Demons Souls.
Demons Souls, and I've got some good things to say about that. We're gonna have some good Lovecraftian high
They
fantasy.
couldn't see me, but I punched the air.
I think they felt it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely felt the air punch.
So yeah, we're gonna have some good conversations about that game.
That'll be good.
Have you
Right on.
played? Have you played through it all?
No,
I think you'll like it.
I have been practicing though,
Oh, good.
so that I can maybe not die.
I mean, you'll die.
I don't know that I'm gonna play.
I think we should have a running tally about how long it takes us to die the first time.
Okay, so you're gonna play then? Is what
Sure,
you're
I'll
saying?
play.
You're gonna play because it would be like 20 seconds.
Okay,
So that's the way that works.
it'll be fun.
Right on.
Anyway,
Thanks everybody.
see you guys.